Right, good evening to everybody. Today, MBFIN 52084 Investment Analysis and Portfolio Management. Again, this one will be taken by me and one practitioner from the Colombo Stock Exchange, Mr. M.K. Heva Vitaran. So, just we will go through the course objectives and of course, this one mainly related to the stock market activities. How people are doing what is called that investments and how they are managing portfolio analysis. So it's very easy topic, again easy subject, because most of the sections already have been covered for the corporate finance. So therefore it goes hands in hand with corporate finance as well, because fundamentals you have learned. So our that duty is to facilitate with some more concepts associated with the investment, because all over the world the investment has become a lucrative business. So therefore that as a separate discipline it has been developed by now. This course unit, once that you will complete, you will come to know that how that investors are invest how that investors are investing their hard-earned funds, as well as how the stock market spectrum works to give what is called the more benefits, or that more returns to the shareholders. Now this includes security trading mechanism, and again investment, lot of theories are there. Then again equity and bond valuation. Of course, equity and bond valuation is again a topic of corporate finance, but portfolio construction, portfolio performance evaluation, with an emphasis on developing analytical skills for the investment process. So learning outcomes stated over here. I do not want you to read it out, but we will go to the content tentative session, and today I'll be taking more into the theoretical aspects of the subject, introduction to securities and investment environment, how that it has been developed, and what things that we need to discuss. Again, risk and return that we have completed in the corporate finance course unit, but again that we wrote it as revisit, and capital asset pricing model and arbitrage pricing theory, but we haven't covered the APT. So therefore, return generating process is a combination of different combinations of factors. So therefore, with that combinations of factors, arbitrage pricing theory, along with the that CAPM that we are discussing. Then after, again, just to remind you, from the third topic, and third topic, macroeconomic and industry analysis. Of course, it means that it's no need to say, you as students, you are very much aware where the economic activities are good for a country. Definitely the investments will be that high. So it means that all the interest rate, inflation rate, exchange rates are that conducive environment is there. So people, I mean investors are naturally or that having tendency to invest. So therefore that macroeconomic variables that we need to focus, and how that different industries, that I will come to the topic where it comes, how that different industry sectors are performing during the that periods. Then company analysis and technical analysis. Company analysis and technical analysis, mainly it's a ratio analysis, company analysis. I mean to obtain knowledge about the investor, how they are that judging about the company to invest. Technical analysis all about the stock price behavior. There are different charts are there. So therefore that technical analysis, bar chart, figure chart, point and figure chart, and like that different that to observe share price behavior, whether to increase or decrease share price behavior, technical analysis. Then analysis of fixed income securities like bonds. Then we will have again midterm examination, analyze quiz, and an introduction to portfolio analysis. We will discuss what is the portfolio and all. Then portfolio performance evaluation, how that though the portfolio is there for the investment, how that performance is evaluated. Equity valuation models, of course, that we have done equity valuation, but sharing practical experiences with that person who is coming from the other resource person coming from the Colombo Stock Exchange. Then introduction derivatives and contemporary development in world stock markets and behavioral finance. So these that the way that we are going to assess you, individual assignment, 20% of marks. We will I think already announced the you need to do the economic analysis. So therefore that it's easy because you have done some of the economics as well. So coupled with corporate finance and again with the investment analysis and portfolio management. Then online quiz 20% and in semester examination rest. These are the books that we have included over here. If you can find it, it's better, and then that you can of course start with this. So given this what is called the first thing and introduction to this subject, investment listen portfolio manage, what we are going to discuss now. Of course so there are, I told you in the beginning, today comprehensively I'm planning to cover about the all aspects of investments, how it's happening now, meaning that we need to know. So the simple definition is given over here: an examination and assessment of economic and market trends, earnings prospects, earnings ratios, and various other indicators and factors to determine suitable investment strategies. What is called an examination. What are the investments? Let's say, for example, mainly our focus is about stock exchanges. In Sri Lanka, we have capital market that is known as Colombo Stock Exchange. But when we come to the investments, never without analyzing the investment opportunities in the market, or in the simplest way to tell you, in the Colombo Stock Exchange in the outset, today we have 297 companies listed. Now 297 companies, investors are not merely approaching the Colombo Stock Exchange for their investment without examining. It means that what or which company would give maximum returns to the investor is very much important. Because otherwise, when we say investment, I am coming to the topic of course, but I need to discuss this background. Why that investors are attracting, or that I mean showing tendency to come to the stock exchange for their investment. The banks are there because they can that I mean simply deposit in the fixed deposit account, and also when it takes to the government banks, it's risk free because government is having ultimate responsibility of paying to the saver, whoever it is. But at the same time, non-banking financial institutions are providing different that investment opportunities. Long term, let's say deposit taking, they are doing, and you have heard they are issuing debentures and like that. Even with that all activities, banks are there, non-banking financial institutions are there. Again, in our country, may not be that those who are having that the or that those who are rich, they are not going behind that. Microfinancial institutions are there, and without assessment, nobody is going to make an investment. So in advance, investors need to get informed judgments whether to go for an investment or not. That's why assessment on economic conditions always that under always at the center point. Market trends, whether that trend is, we have heard in our country, the stock market is that going down and down, but we do not know the that real reason for that. May not be, there are several factors. Some used to say that political stability is not there, country's production is not there, country profile is not good in the international arena. Lot of that discussions are going on. So therefore that market trends are important. Then earning prospects, which company or companies would give maximum returns to the investor. You know that there are conglomerates are there are individual companies are there always. So giving that earning prospects, earning ratios and various other indicators and factors to determine suitable investment strategies. So that is the investment analysis. Suitable investment strategies. What strategies I should use for that while that I am making an investment. The entire process of estimating return and risk for individual securities is known as security analysis or investment analysis. Now you can see earlier it is known as investment management, this subject. Risk and return, both characteristics were not considered. Now today the entire process of estimating return and risk for individual securities known as security analysis or investment analysis. Then we can have that this is very much important in the introductory session, because definitely evaluation also that one question coming out of this to tell you again that now defined as the process of evaluating an investment for profitability and risk, ultimately has the purpose of measuring how the given investment is a good fit for a portfolio. Now, in case of investments, we know there are two concepts, what is known as standalone investment and portfolio of investment. Standalone investment is that when the investor is interested to invest in a particular company. Portfolio, again, portfolio is definition, combination of different assets. So why investors are that having tendency to invest their funds in a portfolio in comparison to individual, that is for the risk diversification. So therefore when that investor is approaching a broker, the story of how to invest in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Whether investor is interested to invest, he cannot simply invest. He has to go through the broker to approach the Colombo Stock Exchange. Then broker, what he is doing? He is doing intermediary role on behalf of the client. He is that executing the client's orders. So therefore investment always, so investors used to the analysts used to formulate and show to the prospective investor available investment portfolios. So then investor is the person who is that giving signal to go ahead with that with portfolio to be selected, because we know again always when this exercise is coming into the picture, all that predictions for the future is happening as a result of past behavior of stock prices. There is no any other way to do that. At the same time, maybe future economic policies also that affect into this investment process. Therefore investment analysis can range from a single bond in a portfolio, personal portfolio, to the investment of a startup business and even large scale corporate projects. Investment is not limited to the what is called share investment, but here my focus is investment in bonds and stocks. Portfolio management. Overview to the subject is the art and science of making decisions about investment mix and policy. matching investments to objectives, asset allocation for individuals and institutions, and balancing risk against performance. You can see art and science of making decisions about investment mix and policy. Mix means that what financial assets to be included into the portfolio. We have discussed this. When portfolio, of course, in case of investments, analysis now, that is, that mainly the investor's discretion. When I say investor's discretion, if I am a, that is, that again depends on uh, person's risk attitude, investors risk attitude. We have seen that some investors are, of course, uh, risk takers. Some investors are not. We used to say that risk averse investors. Therefore, when making an investment mix and policy is very hard to the broker. Why? Investment mix, while creating a portfolio for the prospective investor by anticipating the attitude of the investor. Some used to create a portfolio only with company stocks. Then again for the another or the same investor creating a portfolio with high risky securities, that is stocks, and combination of bonds and government treasury bills. It means that in case of company stocks are failing, in which investor is not going to lose his all in investment, some of the that time in investments will gain through the other investment alternatives or the avenues as well, like government bonds and treasury bills. That's why mix is important. Then next one, matching investment to objectives. Why that? Why what is called investors are investing money, matching investments to objectives. What my objective is? What my objective is? If I am investor, my objective is to always to become rich, wealth maximization. Or that some used to say that again, uh, maybe is there a difference between investment and speculation? In our country, we don't have much of the speculation for the future. So then that asset allocation for individuals and institutions, balancing risk against performance, all. So you could see this is investment objectives, asset allocation for individuals and institutions, and balancing risk against performance. These are the topics that we are going to discuss under the portfolio management, as you see over here. We go ahead. Now, what is a portfolio? Simply, what is the meaning of the portfolio? So here in a different perspective, I have the provided. What is called a portfolio refers to a collection of investment tools such as stocks, shares, mutual funds, bonds, cash, and so on, depending on the investor's income, budget, and convenient time frame. You can see stocks, shares, mutual funds. I hope that you are knowing stocks and shares are both, no? It gives us same meaning, stocks and shares. Companies are issuing shares. Here important is that, let's say initial public offerings are there. It means that primary market, secondary market. Primary market, when the family owned business or the that individual company is coming forward to get listed to the Colombo, get listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange at the first time. So then it is IPO, initial public offering, first time offering to the general public. Secondary market, already that existing company, but trading in the marketplace, trading in the marketplace. So then mutual funds, what is the meaning of the mutual funds? Do we have that big market for the mutual funds? Mutual funds are what is the role of the mutual funds? It's an investment avenue. Mutual funds, what are the mutual funds? Example, C Bank mutual fund in our country. NAMAL, National Asset Management Equity. Now this is, let's say, mutual fund companies. Why? Say mutual fund is accumulated fund like this. This is accumulated fund. This mutual fund has what is called fund manager. Suppose this mutual fund, accumulated fund has 300 million rupees. So then this 300 million scattered into units. Unit has a price, for example, we'll say 10 rupee. The investor is there here. Then investor is approaching fund manager, declares his available funds. Then that fund manager is advising him to purchase certain number of units of this particular fund. Then how that they are giving that dividends? They do give dividends because this fund, of course, elsewhere invested, earns that returns. Out of their returns, they distribute to the investors. So therefore, the major advantage of investing in mutual funds are what? If the investor wanted to get back his that investment, investor can surrender his units and get back the investment. So it is considered as, again, less risky, but in our country it is not much popular. It's not much popular. Now you can see the how that what is called the mutual funds are working. Then bonds. So bonds are two types. Again, bonds are two types. Secured bonds and unsecured bonds. Sorry, bonds are two types. Bonds we are having government bonds. Government bonds. We have government bonds. Again we have what is called as corporate bonds. Corporate bonds. What is the difference? If government feels that they wanted that funds to run the government, they issue government bonds. At the same time, the government institutions are also issuing bonds, debentures as well. So it's a contractual agreement. At the maturity date, they will pay the what is called interest as well as the maturity value. So then bonds, I said government and corporate. And again, bonds can be divided into secured, unsecured. Secured, unsecured. Secured means that collateral is keeping. In failing in which collateral is there, underlying asset is there to realize, to pay the bond value to the invest of the bond. Unsecured, there is no underlying asset to secure the investment. Cash, so on, depending on the investor's income, budget and convenient time frame. There are two types of portfolios. Market portfolio, where that brokers are, that always suggesting to the investors to have market portfolios. Then zero investment portfolio. What is that zero investment portfolio? At the end, there is no either gain or no lose to the investor. Zero investment portfolio. Always, investment is becoming zero as a result of the investment activities within the portfolio itself. Zero investment portfolio. Then we go ahead, definitions. Now this is all related to the wealth management. I am taking broadly this part, wealth management. Wealth management combines both financial planning and specialized financial services, including personal retained banking services, estate planning, legal and tax advice, and investment management services. You can see today investment we are discussing under the wealth management. Now, how that broker or the another institution planning my finance, what kind of specialized financial services are available? When you approach some banks, may not be always that customers are knowing the facilities, but they do the custodian services, they manage portfolios, so all are there, including personal retail banking services, estate planning. If you have assets, of course that assets would be managed, legal and tax advice, and investment management services. The goal of wealth management is to sustain and grow long-term wealth, to ensure that investor will have what is called the positive returns for the future as well. Therefore, today it has become even you see insurance companies, they are also into the wealth planning now. They are not merely selling insurance policies, they do have insurance plans, what is known as retirement plans. So that is related to the wealth planning, is the art of structuring your wealth while building it, preserving it, and in order to transfer it to the next generation, tax optimized. With planning is a mix of tax planning, wealth protection, estate planning, and business succession planning, and relates to your total worldwide wealth. So it is worldwide wealth. Then we come to the real topic now, variability. You have studied this wording with me. Other that wordings also we have given, that is refers to the risk, but risk refers to the variability as well as fluctuations. Oh, we used to say that volatility, variability, what is called volatility, fluctuation. All are same. Because in the corporate finance, or that when you take a company, the company always, the future profits are always unpredictable. So therefore, now what is the essential feature of stock prices? Unpredictable variability due to fluctuation. business world is subject to the risk. Therefore, what does it mean? Essential feature of the stock prices. What does it mean? It means that future of a particular company, stock prices can be taken different possible prices. Today, that's based on the probability, of course. Today, maybe, for example, the FCC shares value is 110. So, Monday, Tuesday maybe 115, Wednesday maybe 95, Thursday maybe 80. We do not know. That is the fluctuation. Now it says, if one wanted to avoid this fluctuation, even when average into an index, this variability is apparent, cannot be avoided. Therefore, portfolio management is now you need to take into the mind now. Portfolio analysis is for what? Introduced to the world portfolio in case of an investments, coping with the variability. How this share price fluctuations are taken into consideration. Why? Can we have an example for this? We go to the example. Now, in this example, let's say for example, what is called, now I said several possible values investment can take. Maybe today 100. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 110 will become 95. Then the 90. Then that further that this one that increase to 98. So then this is that let's say stock X. This is stock one company. Then again stock Y. Let's say stock Y starting Monday, let's say 75. Tuesday it will take that 85, 110, again 90, again 80. Now you can see. Now, what is the role of the portfolio management? Now two stocks in this portfolio, X and Y. Now, what would happen? Combine effect. We need to take. How that we need to how that we are going to take combined effect? Because here 75, 100, here 75, here 110, here 85. Now, it means that statistical analysis we need to conduct to find out what is called the relationship between two stocks and whether this company increase, this company also increase, right? But when this company increases, this company from here to here decreases. So again, like that, one has to that think about when one company's stock prices is going up, other company share prices may going down. So therefore combined effect through the what is called portfolio analysis. So therefore for the managing risk, of course that portfolio analysis came into the world. That is dealing with the fluctuations. That is the meaning of it. So therefore one has to calculate correlation coefficient between companies. Then investment analysis is about analyzing underlying assets to trace out longer term trends. What does it mean? It means that this subject investment analysis came into effect not to take into consideration short-term effect but long-term trends. The same principles apply to both variability and investment analysis. Now, same principles apply to both variability and investment analysis. So therefore, with this overview, the course is about investment of resources in financial securities. Now, why that, again, investment is defined as the sacrifice made now to obtain return later. Of course, it's the economic concept. If you have a disposable income, then that you have consumption, then that disposable income, then that savings become an investment. So all investors are sacrificing their consumption for the future. At the same time, we can define two forms of investment, real and financial. Real, you know that, physical assets, purchase of land, machinery, building, whatever, vehicles. Financial investment is the purchase of a paper contract. What is called? You approach a broker on behalf of you. He will make he will invest in the Colombo Stock Exchange companies. So you just take the paper into your hand. That is today is scriptless, right? Because CDS is there. There is no record, but you can take the record on request. Maybe it is also coming through the email. All electronic. So therefore it's a paper, anyway paper contract. So now, but you need to understand investments are two types, real and financial. Real and financial. But these two investments and financial investments are linked. Why? Who will issue shares? Companies. The share issue of a firm finances the purchase of capital. It means that if you are an investor, you are anticipating to invest in companies. Of course, you purchase the capital. Portion of the capital you purchase. Then the commitment to a mortgage finances the purchase of property. The purchase of property. Financial investment can provide finance for real investment decisions. Correct, no? Financial investment can provide finance for real investment decisions. Why? When you are investing in different investment avenues, that would give returns to you, and that will lead to the purchase real assets, real investment decisions. Then at the same time, therefore we could say financial investments can guide real investment decisions, because once you have money, once you have funds with you, so you will be guided for spending that money for purchasing other type of real assets. Now, financial investment. There are numerous components to financial investment. Numerous components. First thing is markets, where the market assets are bought and sold, and the forms of trade. Organized market is there in our country, Colombo Stock Exchange. But to advise you, when you are learning about investment analysis and portfolio management, you need to learn about, or you need to have an idea about all that world stock markets, because we have discussed of course earlier in the other courses, but I want you to emphasize again, there are developed stock markets, there are emerging stock markets, there are frontier stock markets. Therefore, three kinds of stock markets, so that you need to of course pay your attention. What is called developed stock markets, developed stock markets, emerging stock markets, frontier stock markets. When we say develop, let's say Australian Stock Exchange, Nagoya Stock Exchange, NYSE, New York Stock Exchange, these are developed stock markets. Developed stock markets. Again, why? Of course to tell you that, but I want you to find out meanings of developed stock markets. There are several characteristics of the developed stock markets. Stock market is very liquid. Large number of investors are there. Indexes are trading. Again, listed companies are moved. Again, how that we are again classifying what is called stock markets? Based on market capitalization. I want you to go to the internet and just search about what is the market capitalization of the New York Stock Exchange, what is the market capitalization of the Sri Lankan Colombo Stock Exchange. Then you will see whether our market belongs to developed or frontier or emerging. But earlier in 2000s, of course, there was a classification done by World Bank, sister organization to the World Bank, International Monetary Fund. In 2000s, they have found that rather developed stock markets, emerging stock markets in the world would give highest returns to the investors. Therefore, they have compiled a database as well known as Emerging Stock Market Fact Book. It means that proven, again I repeat, emerging stock markets, proven that those stock markets have given much more returns to the investors. Again, countries where developed stock markets is there would give, or which has what is called as high GNP per capita income. High GNP per capita income. In 2000, International Monetary Fund said that if the country's GNP per capita income over and above 8,200 per month, that sort of a country would be classified as a developed stock market. So again, they said that not developed, but the countries where stock markets are located are striving to achieve the developed status are emerging stock markets. Frontier, it's not either developed or emerging. Last class, frontier stock markets. So you just see that whether our stock market, Colombo Stock Exchange belongs to CSE belongs to which market, either emerging or frontier. So therefore, in this discussion, we need to discuss those that as well. Then we go ahead. Securities. Now, here you need to understand very clearly the differences. Securities. That's why that these wordings put. All kinds of securities available there, returns and risk. Now, you need to understand the entire process of estimating return and risk for individual securities is known as security analysis. I repeat it again. The entire process of estimating return and risk, the entire process of estimating return and risk for each individual securities, the entire process of estimating return and risk for individual securities is known as security analysis. Now we need to discuss, when I say security analysis, the entire process of estimating return and risk for individual securities is known as security analysis. Now you got an understanding. But this has not been the function of security analysis in practice always. Traditionally, analysts have attempted to identify undervalued securities to buy. When the security is undervalued, advise into buy, and overvalued securities to sell. When undervalued securities, buy, overvalued securities to sell. But what is the modern day thinking? Modern day thinking, we, of course, in the modern day thinking, we what is called strongly influenced by the efficient market hypothesis. Efficient market hypothesis. Or in the modern day thinking, so efficient market hypothesis is popularly called as random walk theory. Random walk theory. What is that? What is the that efficient market hypothesis or the random walk theory? What it deals with? It deals with, in fact, it deals with questions for validity of or benefit to be derived from traditional security analysis. In fact, efficient market hypothesis sees only direct benefits emanating from the analyst risk and return characteristics. What is the underlying assumption? Underlying assumption is that share prices reflects the available information in the economy. Share prices reflects the available information in the economy. It means that always when the information is highly efficient, stock markets or the stock prices are reacting to the piece of the information. Reacting to the piece of information. So briefly stated it again, the concept of market efficiency means that stock prices nearly always fully reflect all available information. Stock prices nearly always fully reflect all available information. So what is the effect of that? That's what that we need to discuss. What is the effect of that? If stock prices nearly always fully reflect all available information, what it says, if this is so, it would be exceedingly difficult for the average investor or analyst to earn exceptional returns. Why? It is highly informed. One cannot, get the what is called, that secret information is available. One can do, but not in the consistent basis. So therefore, in fact, the only way for the analyst in such market to achieve superior performance by having, right? How? Superior performance, how the person is going to obtain access to secret to inside information. If secret information is or the inside information is there, he can make unexpected profits. Then he wanted to get what is known as superior analytical tools. Otherwise, a person should have what is called superior forecasting abilities. In that case, investor can expect unexpected returns. So therefore, to sum up this the securities that have return risk characteristics of their own in combination make up a portfolio. Portfolios again may or may not take on the aggregate characteristics of their individual parts. Portfolio analysis thus takes the ingredients of risk and return for individual securities. Portfolio analysis, of course, will take ingredients of risk and return characteristics of individual securities. Therefore, portfolio selection entails choosing the one best portfolio to suit the risk return preferences of the investor. Therefore, portfolio management is the dynamic function of evaluating and revising the portfolio in terms of stated investor objectives. Portfolio management is the dynamic function of evaluating and revising the portfolio in terms of stated investment objectives. Next, we want to discuss investment process. Of course, we'll be taking this one, that is decision about what are the securities included and how much of each is there, right? But process means series of activities. It belongs to the security analysis again. I will take it up. Financial theory. the factors that determine the rewards from investment, that is risk. Now with this, again, before going to the next section, I want you to discuss something about, again we go to the whiteboard, what is called investment versus speculation. Investment versus speculation. Investment versus speculation. Investment we have defined. How that do we define investment? An investment is a commitment of funds, made in the investment process in the investment process made in the investment process with the expectation of some positive returns. Now again, simple definition, but if the investment is properly undertaken, the return will be, we used to say that, commensurate with the risk the investor assumes. But generally investment is distinguished from speculation. That is the point of ours. Generally investment is distinguished from speculation by there are several factors. By the distinguished from investment, by the time horizon of the investment. Time horizon of the investor. Time horizon of the investor. And often by risk and return characteristics. Of the investment. So then what is the difference? What is the difference? True investor in case of investment is looking for what? Consistent, say, consistent long-term returns. Consistent long-term returns or good rate of return, rather consistent basis for a relatively longer period of time. But the speculator seeks opportunities. Speculator seeks opportunities, promising very large returns earned rather quickly. Earned rather quickly. Speculator, on the other hand, seeks opportunities, promising very large returns earned rather quickly. The speculator, again we can discuss, is less interested in consistent performance than is the investor, and is more interested in the abnormal, extremely high rate of return than the normal or more moderate rate. You can see abnormal, extremely high return expects by the speculator. Therefore, speculator wants to get high returns in a short time periods. You can see the difference between speculation and investment. But again, this difference is coming with the what is called motivation of the purchaser. Single stock can be purchased as a speculation as well as an investment, depending on motivation of the purchase. Depending on the motivation of the purchaser. Depending on the motivation of the purchase. Depending on the motivation of the purchaser. So, can you see it? So, but this one says that you are not active present. What is that? You can see it, no? Right, okay. So then, markets. When we come to the markets, today, we need to say that a market is any organized system for connecting buyers and sellers. Colombo Stock Exchange is the market, capital market. Buyers and sellers are there. There are many security markets in the world, I told you, developed, emerging, frontier. Markets may have a physical location. Colombo Stock Exchange in the World Trade Center, first floor. But may not exist, the market place, because all virtual markets are all can be also there. Markets vary in the securities that are traded and in the way securities are traded. We used to say that in the beginning, what is called, we had that open outcry system where orders are matching with the investor, asking that in the open way, we need this much of shares of this company. But today what is happening? Today there is order book. In the morning all orders are placed over there by 8:30. By 9 o'clock it's a demand and supply, matching the orders with the demand, right, with the supply. So then that automatically what is called, it's executing. So there is no that open outcry. It's that what is called virtual market now. Virtual market now, all electronic. Then that we need to discuss characteristics of markets. There are a number of ways to classify markets. Primary market, I said earlier. Secondary market. When the IPOs are coming, primary. Secondary, where the market, where securities are resold again and again trading. Why? Why companies are trading in the stock exchange? Why? For what reason? Why? The IPOs, of course, we know in the first time that raised the capital. So what is the reason now existing companies are coming to the Colombo Stock Exchange? Now one thing is that when the company is doing well, so as a result of that, investors are attracted to that company. But company business profiles must be very much good, attractive. And as a result of that, what would happen? Investors are investing. Then that market capitalization would be very high. As a result of that, liquidity is there. More liquid company. What is the market capitalization? How do we calculate market capitalization? Number of shares issued by a company multiplied by market price of the shares, right? So then that it gives popularity of the company, liquidity of the company, liquidity of the company. So therefore, in our country, Colombo Stock Exchange is a secondary market. Most activities organized in the stock markets, exchanges, stock market as secondary market. Then characteristics of markets. We know that primary market raise capital for the firms. Lot of examples are there. Lot of examples are there. First time when the family owned company is coming to the stock exchange with the expectation of that raising capital. Fine example is that Odell. It was a Hemas Holdings, family owned companies, but they wanted to expand their business. Odell retail outlets to be opened various parts of Sri Lanka. Hemas the same, heavy capital investment for hospital projects. Then they came up with the IPO. So that's primary market, raise capital for firms. Then second one, trades on the secondary market do not raise additional capital for firms. I told you, there is no additional capital. But secondary market is still important for us. I said earlier, it gives liquidity to primary issues. I told you, more liquid the company. What happened? So new securities would have a lower value if they could not be subsequently traded. What had happened in our country? Take some examples from our economy. Our economy, when companies are coming as an IPO, After that issue, at the time of issuing, oversubscribed our market. They place paper advertisements as well to say that oversubscribed. But after 1 or 2 weeks, same company share prices going down. Still, no reason, maybe investors are keeping that word that we are holding, HOARDING, forever whatever the shares they have purchased. Again, it signifies the value. Trading in assets reveals information and provides a valuation of the assets. This helps guide investment decisions. It means that value of the company based on the share prices. Then there is another way of classifying the markets. The second way to classify market is times of trading. Times of trading. Coal continuous trading. Coal or continuous trading. What is the meaning? In a coal market, trading takes place at a specified time intervals. It means that they used to say that we are trading only 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. But in our country, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Some coal markets have a provision that limits movement from the prior price. This is to prevent a temporary order imbalance from dramatically moving the price. What is that? Some coal markets, provision is there not to exceed the prior price of that company share price. Suppose that DFCC company hit on Friday 150, Monday again they would say not go beyond the 150. In a continuous market, there is trading at all times the market is open. When the market is open, there is trading at all times when the market is open. So you could see. Then characteristic of markets. Markets can also be characterized by the lifespan of the assets traded. Traditional distinction. You are very much aware what is called money market and capital market. Money market operates what? Transactions which are having lifetime less than 1. Capital market is the Colombo Stock Exchange. We know that some assets like bonds, fixed lifespan, 5-year bond, 10-year bond, 25-year nation building bond. Again, you do remember when we did what is called share valuation, we always assume that common stocks have an indefinite lifespan up to infinity. There is no any other method to value the company shares. So therefore, you could see how markets are characterized. Lifespan, secondary, again with time of trading, then primary and secondary market. So 3 ways. Now the brokers. I said in the beginning, without a broker, one cannot approach a capital market to execute their orders. Representative appointed by an individual investor. In our country also there are about how many brokers? 16, 15 broker firms. Brokers again licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka to execute transactions on behalf of the Colombo Stock Exchange. Then brokers have two conflicting roles, very clear. An advisor. A broker can offer investment advice and information. Investment advice and information. Always. That's why today To act as a broker, they need to get the license from the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka. Not only that, to obtain that license, they have to pass the examination as well from the Capital Market Institute, from the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka. Then he acts as a salesperson. Brokers are rewarded through commission and have an incentive to encourage trade, because they are the people, of course, coming forward and that, of course, fabricating stories to the investors. By this, that company shares, you will become rich. Then there are kinds of brokers. A full service broker is a brokerage house that can offer full range of service, including investment advice and portfolio management. If you log into the broker firm's website, you will find a lot of that information over there, lot of reports over there, research reports. Accordingly, investors are investing in the Colombo Stock Exchange, right? So we will have a break and that will start. Right, let's start again now. So this is the introduction again, securities. So that you need to have, of course, what is known as security, but we need to have a standard definition. So that I have included the standard definition over here, which is known as a legal contract representing the right to receive future benefits under stated set of conditions. Right to receive future benefits. What are the benefits of the investment? So that is So what is called? We used to say that capital appreciation. What is that? It's the first one is that what is called dividends plus capital appreciation. That is share price increase. So it's just a paper. What is called piece of paper defining the property rights held by the owner is the security. It's a piece of paper. But today I said that there is no paper as well. Right? When we have that CDS, Central Depository System. In the Central Depository System, when the investor approaches the stockbroker with the NIC, of course, CDS open an account. Right? So then all that time in transactions are recorded in the individual account according to the PIN number, person identity number is given. In the person identity number, CDS maintains all the records on behalf of the investor. So today it is scriptless. Today it's scriptless. Trading is happening in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Right? Now, next. Then money market securities. That is short-term debt instruments sold by governments, finance institutions and a few companies. They have maturities when issued 1 year or less. Government treasury bills. Government treasury bill is known as a riskless investment or risk-free investment. Why is that? Government treasury bills are issued by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka on behalf of the Sri Lankan government. So ultimately having responsibility of settling the treasury bill value to the investor by the government. Therefore, treasury bills are the least risky and the most marketable of all money market instruments. So one of the that major money market instrument is that government treasury bills. That's why when we have discussed capital as a pricing model, risk-free rate of return we took always as a government treasury bill rate. That's right. So you can see in that. So there are different that maturity periods. 91 and 182-day T-bills are issued weekly by auction, whereas 52-week treasury bills are issued monthly. An active secondary market with very low transaction cost exists for trading treasury bills. Treasury bills are sold at a discount from face value and pay no expected interest payments. So I said that no risk of default. They are very short-term maturities and have a known return. Now what is the treasury bill rate? It's 7%. 7%. So it's a risk-free. Capital market securities. Of course, that this is an introduction. You will be, getting much more information. You have seen in our course outline what is called fixed income securities, bonds and debentures, especially the bonds. So, instruments having maturities greater than 1 year and those having no designated maturity at all, known as fixed income securities. It has that specified payment schedule, 1 year, 2 year, 3 or after 5 years. So nation building bonds for 20 years. 20 years, long term. Bonds promise to pay specific amounts at specific times. Failure to meet any specific payment puts the bond into default with all remaining payments. The creditor can put the defaulter into bankruptcy. If, of course, that I said that corporate bonds are there. Corporate bonds are there. If the company needs funds, they are issuing bonds or again debentures as well. If they are default, of course, default into bankruptcy. Creditor can put. Now, fixed income securities differ from each other in promised return for several reasons. This fixed income securities, fixed income. Shares are not having fixed income. Debentures and government bonds are having fixed income. For maturity of the bonds, I said that 1 year maturity is there, 5 year maturity is there, 10 years maturity is there, 15 or 20 year maturity is there. The credit worthiness of the issuer. Now you see, when company or especially whatever the bank is going to issue the bonds, they need to get the certification from credit rating agents. That is to show the credit worthiness that they are able to repay the whatever the bond values they are obtaining from the general public. Then taxable status of the bond, whether bond income, bond interest is taxed or not. So we know that income and capital gains are taxed differently in many countries. In our country, is it taxed? No. The investments, the bond return is not, but withholding tax is there. Withholding tax is there. So therefore, bonds are always exploit these differences as we know. Then treasury notes and bonds. We have discussed. Corporate bonds we have discussed. I said that what is called government and corporate. When the bonds are issued by the companies, it is corporate bonds. Okay. These promise to pay interest at periodic intervals and to return principal at the fixed rate. So if it is 5 year bond, so first year, second year, third year, fifth year, so that interest rate is paid, and again these bonds are issued business entities and thus have a risk of default. May not be knowing that what would happen, right? What would happen? Common stock, so that you can see fixed income securities are there, common stock is there. No need, no. You are aware of this one. Ownership now, but you need to understand it. Common stock represents what? An ownership claim on the earnings and assets of a company. Shareholder become owner. Shareholder become owner. After holders of debt claims are paid, the management of the company can either pay out the remaining earnings to stock holdings in the form of dividends or reinvest part of all the earnings. We know that plow back of profits. When the company is having enough profits, declaring as dividends. And some companies in the world witness that for longer years, though that they have earned profits, not paid dividends like Microsoft. Reason is that to develop. again within the company reinvesting, and with the expectation of that again the developing same company into the that different countries as well. The hold of a common stock has limited liability. We know that limited liability concept came to the world as a result of formation of companies as a form of business organizations, right? Only if the company become bankrupt, shareholder only losing his share value only, not the private property. Now again, still to tell you that the other lecturer would discuss with you derivative instruments. Banks are using now forward contracts, derivative instruments. But here the focus is not forward contracts, like the what is called other derivatives, options, futures, and like that. So we don't have in Sri Lanka derivative instruments other than the banking firms. I mean to trade in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Derivative instruments are securities whose value derives from value of an underlying security or basket of securities. What is that? Derivative is an instrument. This instrument has underlying asset. Take gold is an instrument. Gold is a product, physical. Then to represent the gold, there is an index, say gold index. Based on the gold prices, index is that listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Index is trading. Then investors are purchasing that index. Why? I do expect gold pound tomorrow would increase. So therefore, so this is the way what is called the bond prices, sorry, the derivatives. So then what is called the instruments are also known as contingent claims, since their values are contingent on the performance of underlying assets. What is that? It will get the instruments what is called the contingent claims, since their values are contingent on the performance of underlying assets. What is that? It means that I said the gold, again, let's say in our country we don't have paddy, so maybe represented the paddy, then that will have what is called index. So contingent claim, what is called, since their values are contingent, dependent on what is called performance of underlying asset. So therefore, you can see the most common claims are options and futures. I told you, options and futures. Now you have a definition here, option and the futures. You see the definition. What is that? What is that option? You can see. An option on a security gives the holder the right to either buy, that we call it call option. We buy, call option. Or sell, we put option, a particular asset at a future date or during a particular period of time for a specified time period. You understand? It means that call or what is called called option or put option, a particular asset at a future date or during a particular period of time for a specified time. You understand? So therefore, we go ahead with this one. Future, again another derivative instrument. We will be taking in detail this one. But in the first semester, I have discussed with the corporate finance is the obligation to buy or sell a particular security or bundle of securities at a particular time for a stated price. A future is simply a delayed purchase or sale of a security. It means that future, and that is speculation. That is for the speculation, right? That is for the speculation. That is for the speculation. So then, what is called a future is simply a delayed purchase. The company can issue contingent claims. Corporate issued contingent claims include rights and warrants, which allow the holder to purchase common stock from a company at a set price a particular period of time. In our country, we have, of course, that I have some of the evidence from the Colombo Stock Exchange, where in our country we have what is known as the share warrants. What is share warrants? Share warrants. Share warrant is what? Now here definition. What is a warrant? The warrant is something where it's a a certificate giving you the right to buy shares at a specified price within a specified time period. Share warrant, right? A certificate giving you the right to buy shares at a stipulated price within a specified time. You understand? So therefore you will find what is called as the corporate issued contingent claims include rights and warrants which allow the holder to purchase common stock from company at a set price of particular period of time in the future. So getting into the agreement, I will purchase this much of shares of your company on this date. It's happening. Indirect investing. When we say investment, we have that indirect investment already discussed in the beginning. One asked the question, what is the difference between mutual fund and the unit trust? Same, no? Same. The purchase of shares of an investment portfolio, mutual fund, unit trust, right, holds a portfolio of securities usually in line with the stated policy objective. Invest deposit funds in bonds or securities. Size is determined by the inflow of funds. Investment trusts are there. Issue a certain fixed sum of stock to raise capital. This fixed capital is then managed by a trust. The initial investors purchase shares which are then traded in the stock market. Hedging funds are there, known as hedge funds, actively manage deposits in excess of certain amount. Trade in all financial markets including derivatives. Hedging funds are there in our country also. You may have heard different companies are there, offshore companies. Or they are situated in Sri Lanka but doing business elsewhere. So these companies are that then not catering to the Sri Lankan market but all over the market they are share trading on behalf of the investors. This is known as hedge funds. This is very much important. Again, we have calculated, of course, when we discuss the capital budgeting, of course, we have discussed almost everything. But return calculation, very simple. This is with regard to the wealth position of the investor. End of period. Now return we calculate end of period wealth minus beginning of period wealth and divided by beginning of period wealth. Right? So then return we can calculate what is V1 in notation? V1 in notation V1. This is today's market price of a share. Today's market price. V0, yes, purchase price, you know this one, into 100 as a percentage. We have studied, it's easy. So therefore those who have opted for finance, easy, because more or less that this stuff we have covered earlier as well. So this is the calculation. As a percentage we keep it. As a percentage we keep it. Initial investment 10,000. So 12,500 today's value. So 25%. Very simple. Today 6,000 investment value. Initial investment value is 5,000. So 20%. So you can calculate the wealth position of the investor. Return and risk. This is something again theoretical as well as very much important, because to discuss about the risk inherent in holding a security is the variability. Risk inherent, embedded, incorporated, that is known as uncertainty of its return. Then factors, now this is very much important. This is very much important. Though that we have studied risk, we have not considered what are the factors behind the risk. First one, what is called maturity. If maturity period is very long, risk is high, no? So therefore underlying factors have more chance to change over the longer period. We know that over the longer period, so it will have, that definitely what is called the more risk. Then again we know that if the maturity period is so long term, what would happen we do not know to the exchange rate or the inflation. So then that is a risk to the investor. Again, it increased chance of the issuer default in the longer is the time horizon. If the time horizon is very long, so we do not know whatever the investors funds what would happen in the future. If you know that company become bankrupt, I'm facing a risk. Then these are the risk emanates as a result of when the longer time period of the maturity period is high. Maturity period is high. Then credit worthiness. What is the credit worthiness? We know that, say a simple example is the Central Bank of Sri Lanka invested in the Greek bonds. You see, some governments failed. So it's a credit worthiness. Without assessing the credit worthiness of the country, poor Sri Lanka invested in Greek government bonds, not paid yet, billions of rupees. So therefore, if the company cannot repay whatever that investment in the future, that is risk. So these are the risk factors. Credit worthiness. Priority. What is priority? Company is giving priority over the stockholders to the bondholders, because debt to be retired first, debt to be repaid. Bondholders are also able to put the company into bankruptcy if it defaults payment. Because why? Bondholders may come and approach the company and surrounded the company and ask that, give us our money. That's what had happened to the Golden Key credit card, Pramukha Bank, right? And CFIL. You understand? That is a priority. Liquidity. Liquidity, we know that how easy to that convert into the cash. The existence of a highly developed and active secondary market raises liquidity. The existence of a highly developed and active secondary market, I told you, no? So stock markets are classified again. So developed as if it is market is liquid. Then one barometer of that deciding about the liquidity is the market capitalization. If the market capitalization is trillion of dollar value, so that is having much liquidity. Liquid market are less risky. Okay, a security risk is raised if it is lacking liquidity. If no liquidity, risk is high, no? Risk is high. Clear. Underlying activities. What are the underlying activities? The economic activity of the issue of the security can affect how risky it is. It means that if the business engage in more risky business, right? So let's say for it's not good. I'm not naming a company. I heard that one mobile telecommunication company, I'm not knowing full story, but near the Sripada, they wanted to put up a hotel. So then that what had happened, I came to know that customers of that company withdrew their telephone connections and therefore company is in a trouble now. Why? Underlying activity is not good. It's culture. It's a culture. In the society is the what is called ethics. So therefore, if the underlying activities of the company is not matched with the whatever the that country's perspectives, definitely that company is at risk. Understand? Okay, we go ahead. Return and risk. Therefore, fundamental concept: the greater the risk of a security, the higher is expected return. We know that. Return is the compensation that has to be paid to induce investors to accept risk. We have discussed at length: higher the risk, higher the return; lower the risk, lower the return. The what is called theoretical notion. Then, success in investing is about balancing risk and return to achieve an optimal combination. One has to balance. The risk always remains because of the unpredictable variability in the return on assets. I said to you, unpredictable. We do not know what would happen. So therefore, risk is there always. This is very much important. The investment process. You will understand, of course, once you go through all the course outline topics that we have mentioned in this one, how this investment process is happening. But in advance, I need to discuss this one. A description of the process is: first thing, set the investment policy. Put in the investment policy is not at all simple. It should have objectives. Why investing, right? Or maybe enhancing the wealth position of the investor, or supporting the company to be liquid. Then what is the amount that you are going to put? Then what is the combination of assets, that is the portfolio? So you see, investment policy should be there. Whether if I am an investor, I am going for investing in a single company or two companies, three companies, four companies, five companies and all. So therefore, choice of assets. Choice of assets, whether treasury bill is there, high risk securities is there, low risk securities is there, neutral securities are there. That is investment policy. So investment policy is based on what? Investors' risk and return attitude, or the risk attitude. Then conducting security analysis. I told you. Now we are studying security analysis and portfolio management. One has to analyze it with the past performance. Security analysis, whether undervalued or overvalued. Then use. There are methods you are going to study. I told you what is called technical analysis is there. Fundamental analysis is there. Right? The examination of past prices to forecast the trends. Technical. Fundamental, what is called true value based on future expected returns. True value based on future expected returns. So therefore, fundamental analysis. Then you need to go for, in the investment process, what is called portfolio construction. Not simple. Portfolio construction. How? You need to identify assets. What are they? Maybe stocks, it means shares, bonds, debentures, government treasury bills. Assets to be identified. In the portfolio construction. Then this one very important. Choose extent of diversification. What is the diversification? We have studied what number of stocks to be included into the given portfolio. Why the diversification? Diversification is there for what? Diversification is there for risk reduction. Risk reduction. Then once you construct the portfolio, once we construct the portfolio, once we construct the portfolio, once we construct the portfolio, what will happen? You need to do the portfolio evaluation. That is known as performance evaluation of the portfolio. There are various methods are available for that. Now, this is highly theoretical as well as practical. Some used to say that Fenner ratio. There are that ratios are there, right? With standard deviation and the combination, Fenner ratio, portfolio evaluation, then portfolio revision. What is the need of portfolio revision? If there are three portfolios, portfolio X, let's say portfolio X, portfolio X, portfolio Y, portfolio Z. If the portfolio X is not good through the performance, so Y, Z is good, so then that investor is shifted to the Z in the next period. Likewise, so portfolio revision should be there. It means that never an investor stays in a single portfolio. Okay. So then next one. Now these are the that again fundamental things that you can that keep in mind. Brokerage and specify name of the firm, buy or sell, size of the order, how long until order is cancelled, type of order, and like that. Right? That is brokerage. A time limit is there. There are day orders are there, open orders are there, fill or kill, discriminatory order. These are the wordings that we are using. So what is fill and kill? You need to know. Cancelled if not executed immediately. Right? Discriminator left to the broker. I'm not an investor of influence in the broker. I kept much of the confidence on the broker. So therefore, left to broker. You do it. You execute on behalf of me. That's why now the brokers have been licensed by the Colombo Stock Exchange and the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka. Type of order, market order, buy or sell with broker making best effort, right? Price is uncertain, execution certain, limit order. A limit price is per maximum if buying, minimum if selling, execution uncertain, price certain. You understand? So this is called orders. We go ahead. So these are the that stop order. Now you see buying common stock order. A stop price is specified. Sell if the price below the stop price. Falls below the stop price. Sell. A stop loss is used to lock in profits. Buy if the price rises above the stop price. Execution is certain if stop price passed. What is called? Then price is uncertain. So likewise, I pass it because you can read it. There is a margin that is known as margin account. It means that margin account with a broker allows for limited borrowing to purchase assets. What is called? A margin account with a broker allows for limited borrowing to purchase assets. It's a hypothecation agreement. A broker can pledge securities as collateral. Some guarantee is there. A broker can lend the securities to others. Right? Sometimes owned legally by broker, dividends, voting right, reporting to go to the reports to the go to investor. Margin accounts. Margin providers are there. Maybe some banks are providing margins to purchase shares on behalf of the investor. So if you know that say 100,000, margin 40,000 is provided to the investor. Margin providers, brokers are doing this one, not the banks. Margin purchase. This is the way that margin account. Borrow money from broker to invest. Brokers are doing. I don't have money. I borrow money from the broker to purchase shares. You understand? That is known as margin purchase. The cost of borrowing is interest plus service charge because they are charging the interest. Then initial margin requirement is a percentage of the minimum. Actual margin is calculated market value of assets minus loan amount, then divided by market value of assets. So actual margin is calculated on daily basis. The margin account is subject to the maintenance of margin requirement. Of course, Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka given the limit for margin requirement. That is the minimum acceptable value of the actual margin. If the actual margin is less than the maintenance margin, then the margin call is issued. The investor is obliged to add cash or securities to the margin account. Clear? So this is the example as well. Buying on the margin raises the return. Now you see, purchase price is 50 rupees. Let price securities now be 65. Assume 100 units were purchased and no dividends were paid. Return on cash purchase is cash return is 30%. 65 is the now price. Purchase price is 50, 30%. Buying on the margin raises return. You see, less price but high price is there, right, in the market when they are buying. So therefore total cost calculated like this. So 50 rupees, 100 shares, 5,000. Interest rate is 11%. Initial margin 60% will be given as a loan. So therefore 60% is equal to 2,000. So therefore margin return is that 65 minus 50 in difference divided by, so multiplied by 100, then minus 2,000. But for this 2,000 interest rate is applied 11%. Then so again what is called 60% loan, we have to divide it by it 1. So what is called margin purchase, margin return for the margin provider is 42%, 7. This is how it is happening in the stock exchanges. Clear? Right? So this is the margin calculation. This is the margin calculation. Okay? This is the margin calculation. So then But if price falls, assume what would happen. You can see. If price falls, now the other way around. Now it's not 60, 50, 40, minus 20. So margin return would decrease. So profit as well as losses. So therefore short sales I'm not covering. Margin that you can say, this is all about today I wanted to discuss with you. So I hope with this we will be starting the other that topics from the next week onwards. This is all about what is known as the introduction to security analysis. So I discussed today, to sum it up, more basics about investment and speculation, what is investment, how it is happening, risk and return, brokers, and how portfolio construction or revision and everything. So therefore mainly investment process. So therefore we will discuss in the next week more in detail. Okay, if you have any question you can ask, otherwise we will conclude. Okay, right, thank you very much.